Bringing you the news from here at home and across the world, live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. A very good evening. This is Prime Time News. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Madhushka Balasurya. Let's start off with a look at your headlines.
An inmate who attempted to flee shot near the Casbah court. Suspect arrested over the abuse and murder of a girl in Batticaloa. Police to reward 1 million rupees for any information on missing girl from Nikadalupota. Polls chief says all campaign officers in the Uva province must be removed in a week.
Moving on to the stories in detail now. 2 suspects who attempted to flee the custody of prison officials while at the Casbah court complex were shot at today. One suspect who suffered injuries has been admitted to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital for treatment.
According to the police, the suspect had attempted to flee while they were disembarking from the prison transport bus. The prison's bus came and went inside. They opened the doors to let out prisoners. Then he made a run for it. Prison's guard shot at them. They jumped over a wall and the officials found them shot in a paddy field nearby.
He made a run for it and ran out of the court complex. About 2 or 3 people started shooting.
According to the police, the suspect was taken into custody around 500 meters away from the court complex.
He broke through the gate and jumped from over here. There were 2 trousers belonging to my son. Both have bullet holes.
The other suspect who attempted to flee was also taken into custody. Prison spokesperson Tushara Upuldene stated that broad investigations have been launched into the incident.
Moving into another one of our headline-making stories, the police say that they are yet to receive any solid information on 4-year-old Pamara Keshani Bandara Vijaykun, who is alleged to have been abducted from Nikadalupota, Kurunagala. The girl was abducted in the early hours on Tuesday while she was asleep at her home.
The Inspector General of Police announced today that a reward of 1 million rupees will be given for any information that could lead to the whereabouts of the missing child. Several police and a team of CID officers are conducting investigations into the disappearance. If you have any information that could lead to the discovery of Pamara Keshani Bandara Vijaykun, you can contact the numbers 0112 422 176 or 0113 024 245 or 0777 223 095.
Now, in the recent past, several cases of abductions of children have been reported. What are your views? Join the conversation, share your views on our website www.newsfirst.lk or on our Facebook page.
An individual who had sexually molested and murdered an 8-year-old child in Kathankudi in Batticaloa has been arrested by the police. The suspect was produced before court and placed under remand custody until the 23rd of this month.
The body of the child was found in an abandoned house in the Manjatutuai village. The victim's body was dumped inside a fertilizer bag. The police stated that the suspect was a resident from Padiyathalava in Ampara. Meanwhile, a demonstration demanding that legal action be taken against the suspect was organized in the Batticaloa town today.
Moving on to some election news, the casting of ballots on the additional day allocated for the submission of postal votes for the Uva Provincial Council election commenced this morning. Lakmal Kirindigala of the Newsfirst Uva Election Bureau filed this report from Monaragala.
Monaragala, that was battered by a severe drought over the recent past, is currently experiencing a heavy rainfall. However, the rains have not been able to dampen the election fever in this district. Attacks on election propaganda officers were also reported today in Monaragala. Postal votes were also cast in Monaragala today.
The obtaining of a temporary identification ahead of the Uva PC polls will end tomorrow. The Election Secretariat notes that eligible voters who do not possess a valid identification could apply for a temporary identification to be used at polling booths. Applications in this regard could be obtained at Gram Manaladari or Estate Superintendent offices. Meanwhile, the number of complaints received by the Election Secretariat on election law violations in the run-up to the Uva PC polls has risen to 205. 131 complaints have been lodged from the Monaragala district, while 60 complaints have been lodged from the Badulla district. Meanwhile, a police security personnel died in a collision involving a cab belonging to a ULP candidate and a motorbike in Bibila. The police officer who was travelling on the motorbike at the time of the accident was assigned to the Bibila police. According to the police, the accident took place on the Padiyathalava road close to the Mahiyangane roundabout. The victim was a resident of the Madagama area and a father of two. Meanwhile, an unidentified group had vandalized an office of the JVP in the Veheragala area in Monaragala. Just 8 kilometers away from this office, another office of the JVP was vandalized by an unidentified group in the Kahamna area.
The Office of the Elections Commissioner has announced that all offices of candidates in the Uva province should be removed by midnight next Wednesday. It added that on Thursday the 18th, the police and elections observers will examine the progress. We now cross over to Newsfirst Uva Election Bureau correspondent in the Badulla district, Amarasri Bandara, for the latest reports on the elections.
ඌව පළාත් සභා මැතිවරණයේ අද දිනේ සුවිශේෂී දවසක්. අද තමයි තැපැල් ඡන්ද ප්‍රකාශ.
Today is an important day in the run-up to the Uva Provincial Council polls. Today was the final day to cast postal votes for the election. Postal votes were also cast in the Badulla district as well today. A large number of propaganda hoardings that were seen in these areas over the recent past were removed. However, with the departure of the Elections Commissioner from the district, more propaganda hoardings have been set up in the district once again. Meanwhile, temporary roadblocks that can be set up with the use of tar barrels can also be witnessed in many areas, including Mahiyangane. Meanwhile, police officers from other areas who were brought into the Badulla district remain to carry out their duty.
මේක තමයි බදුල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ඌව මැතිවරණ කාර්යාංශය අද දවසේ කළ සංචාරයේදී දක්නට ලැබුණු දේවල්.
Well, that was Newsfirst Amarasri Bandara there, filing a report on the election preparations in the Uva province. Well, up next is our special segment, The Battle for Uva.
In the past, our women were told that they can travel from Dondrahead to Point Pedro in the night by themselves with a blue sapphire in their hand. Leave aside the blue sapphire. Today, if you walk with half a pound of bread on the streets, the moment the lights go out, and if there is a politician around, you will lose the half a pound of bread and your life. The only thing that has been done for Uva is getting the donations still stolen in Kataragama.
We all know that it is because of the vision of the Mahinda Chintana that we were able to construct bridges and carpet roads and bring about these massive developments for you.
It is all lies. Today everyone is suffering, from the state sector employee to the businessman. A political culture where thugs have entered is prevalent in the country. This must be wiped out. The time has come, so the power of the people must be showed in this election.
This has a big impact to the troubled mind. Even I was born under that red flag. There is a major agenda in place where the only way to attain peace of mind is to create a government under the symbol of the bell. You can drink water from the well to quench your thirst, but you can't drink water from the sea. It will make you thirstier. It is similar to that.
For those who are planning to cast your vote to the beetle leaf on the 20th,
well, the Daily Mirror headline today read, quote, Mangala asks Sajith to work and show, unquote. Mangala Samravira, who returned to the country following an overseas tour, had expressed these sentiments during a media briefing held at the UMP headquarters, Sirikota, yesterday.
The Daily Mirror reported today that Mangala Samravira has commended Sajith Premadasa for joining Ranil Wickremesinghe during the party's 68th anniversary celebration and had hoped that he would stand by his pledge to support Ranil Wickremesinghe to become the next president of the country. Sajith Premadasa, reacting to this statement, says that he will not accept the challenge made by an individual such as Mangal Samarweera, who destroyed the party, who does not have an understanding of the party's rich history, and who does not identify the aspirations of a majority of the party members. The parliamentarian also notes that Mangala Samarweera does not accommodate new trends. In a media communique issued by Sajith Premadasa in reaction to the statements made by Mangala Samarweera during a media briefing, notes that the statements made by Samarweera are vengeful and do not properly assess the party or the Premadasas. Through the release, Sajith Premadasa recollects the work carried out by the Premadasas for the development of the United National Party. He points out that even though there was a difference of opinion between Gamini Dissanayake and his father, the Premadasa family fully supported and endorsed the late Gamini Dissanayaka's presidential bid in 1994. Sajith Premadasa states that Mangala Samarweera is an individual who came to the fore to destroy the character of Ranasinghe Premadasa and to destroy the UNP government, which was in power at the time his father passed away. The release further reads that it is Mangala Samarweera who was responsible for distorting the image of Ranil Wickremesinghe, portraying Ranil Wickremesinghe as Mr. Bean by pasting posters across the country and advertised the slogan Ranil Can't through the media during the 1999 presidential campaign. Sajith Premadasa jogs one's memory about the efforts taken by Mangala Samarweera to attract several UNPers to government ranks. He notes that it is rather ironic that such an individual now acts as the savior of the United National Party. The release goes on to note that in 2001, Mangala Samarweera threatened to leave the country unless the president dissolved the UNP government, which was established with much difficulty. The parliamentarian goes on to point out that when the Janabala Mehayuma was initiated in 2005 to demand for a presidential election, it was Mangala Samarweera who spearheaded a smear campaign to destroy the UNP. Sajith Premadasa notes that Mangala Samarweera entered the UNP after he was stripped of his cabinet portfolio and was left with nothing. He entered under the promise of assuming the mantle of Deputy Prime Minister when returned to power. The release goes on to state that Mangala Samarweera did not enter the political campaign in 2008 and 2009 provincial council polls as he was afraid of losing the polls and was reluctant to take responsibility for it. Quote,
"The entire country is aware that Mangala Samarweera became a member of the UNP in order to contest the 2010 general election from a recognized political party and not because of his love for the UNP. Mangala Samarweera, who entered the UNP as a political refugee, came in second in the district. He was also not even able to increase the UNP voter percentage in the Mathura district during the provincial council polls held in March."
Unquote.